Okay. As a preliminary matter, this is Howard Traster, Chair of the Newbury Zoning Board of Appeals. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Board members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Elaine Baker,
Yes.
Eric Spahn,
Yes.
Murphy, Planning Board member,
Yes.
Mario Carnaval.
Yes.
Kelly, okay. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Susan Noyce,
Yes.
anticipated speakers, we evidently don't have any. So good evening. This is May 14th, 2020, open meeting of the Newbury Zoning Board of Appeals. Is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020. Due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of the public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. If public hearings continued, public comment does not need to be allowed. That was just a side note, I'm sorry. For the meeting, the Newbury Zoning Board of Appeals is convening by video conference via Zoom as posted on the ZBA's agenda, which can be found on the Zoning Board of Appeals page on the town's website. The agenda identifies how the public may join the meeting. This agenda can be accessed from the website's homepage by clicking on the box that says Agendas at the top of the news box. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and that take care not to screen share your computer unless you're requesting to do so by me. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. We are provided by the board and committee members prior to the meeting for review. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. For any discussion items, I, the chair, will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, everyone other than board members, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please use earbuds, earphones with tablets and cell phones. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. Take care not to screen share
Your
your,
PC.
okay. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. Board members will be called upon in first name, alphabetical order to ease the process. If board members wish to engage in a I can't say the word,
Colloquy.
colloquy? So you learn something all the time. With other members, please do through through the chair, taking care to identify yourselves. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Now we can move on to the agenda, which Eric Spahn will read.
All right. Thank you, Howie.
Public hearing continuance and withdrawal, May 14th, 2020. Applicant number 1, pursuant to Chapter 53 of the Act of 2020, Section 17, public hearing for Helen and Brian Buia regarding 16 Plum Island Boulevard, Plum Island, is a finding for the relief of Section 97-4D of the Newbury zoning bylaws, as the proposed construction will increase both the height and the lot coverage for the lot/property located on Assessor's Map U02-0120.
I think we lost him.
We lost you,
Yeah.
Eric.
Just give him a second.
Okay.
Yeah. So he probably had an internet issue.
You want me to continue? Oh, there he is.
Yep.
Eric, we lost your audio.
Yeah, I just still got a hiccup on my other computer as well. Where did you lose me? Do I need to read it again, or?
I think you can just pick up where I think you just confirm the assessor's map and move on from there.
Assessor's Map U02-02-124 shall be continued to June 18th, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. at the Newbury Municipal Offices, 12 Kent Way, Byfield, Mass., second floor, hearing room. So I guess we need a motion to continue. Is that correct? Or
We don't. This continuance was issued by Howard Traster, the chair, and that's what is required, but certainly
Yep.
confirming the motion is fine.
I think we can just move on
just
unless anybody has comments.
no, I just wanted to check and make it clear as we proceed, then we'll proceed as this for the rest of the other three.
Right.
Okay, applicant number 2, pursuant to Chapter 53 of the Act of 2020, Section 17, the public hearing for the B2W LLC, care of Mark Griffin, regarding 1 Plumbush Down, Plum Island, on a finding for relief from Section 97-4D of the Newbury zoning bylaws. As proposed, construction will increase both the height and lot coverage of the structure for the lot/property located on the assessor's map R51-0-015, shall be continued to June 18th, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. at the Newbury Municipal Offices, 12 Kent Way, Byfield, Mass., second floor, hearing room. Applicant number 3, Al Ward of 80 Northern Boulevard, Plum Island, has requested to withdraw his application for a finding for relief from Section 97-4D of the Newbury zoning bylaws. As proposed, construction will increase both the height and the lot coverage percentage on the property located on Assessor's Map U03-0-181. Received letters from abutters.
That's just a comment with regard to that. So
Okay.
we just need to make a motion to accept this withdrawal without prejudice.
I'll make a motion to accept the withdrawal without prejudice.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Oh, no, I think I have to go
Roll call.
a roll call. So Elaine Baker,
Yes.
Eric Svein,
Yes.
I lost.
and I vote in the affirmative. So motion passes.
Okay, application number 4. Pursuant to Chapter 53 of the Acts of 2020, Section 17, the public hearing for Stephen and Laurie Scipione, sorry about that, regarding the 4th Street, Plum Island. The applicant is requesting a finding for relief from 97-4D of the Newbury zoning bylaws, as the proposed construction will increase both the height and lot coverage for the structure located within the Plum Island Overlay District, PIOD, of the property located at Massachusetts 019510, Assessor's Map U02-0-215, shall be continued to June 18th, 2020, at 7:30 PM at the Newbury Municipal Offices, 12 Kent Way, Byfield, second floor hearing room.
Very good. So I did speak with Lisa Mee briefly prior to this meeting, and she said, or shared, that assuming that there are changes, we can certainly or should anything change with the legislation, we have the
Okay, so we've lost you.
again to a date certain. Village at can you hear me now?
Not very well. Can anybody else hear Sue?
I can.
Try it again.
Just hang on a
Go ahead.
second.
Yep.
Is that better?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Is everybody else here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that was a little odd. Okay, so as you know, we do have the Village at Cricket Lane scheduled for next Thursday, May 21st, I believe it is. So we can continue that to a date certain or to just continue it. Lisa recommended that we take that action tonight so we can inform the applicant with regard to our decision versus just waiting till next week when the meeting is going. I think at this juncture, with generally, or we could take a look out, maybe even into July, and choose a date in July that we might want to continue this to. That's really up for discussion and up for you guys to decide.
Okay, so I didn't hear everything you said, Sue, but I have the gist of it, that you want us to talk about rescheduling the Cricket Lane hearing. I don't know that, my opinion is that we should schedule it for June. The sooner, the better. Elaine, do you have a comment about that?
I'm out of this. I have
Oh,
to.
I'm sorry, that's right too. Eric, so you're next in line there. What do you think?
Yeah, I would, well, I just want to understand where the clock is ticking and rolling and what the calendar days are so that we don't,
I have the same question. And
we don't,
I have no idea.
Right.
It does get extended out, I think at least 45 days right now from what the 100 days were
so-
due to the legislation.
But where is that, Sue, do you know? I mean, even by extending.
Well,
it to
we're
40
what?
Well, by
60,
extending it to 45 days, where does that take us to? Do you know?
But is that 45 days from the filing of the application? or
no,
is
but
it-
it's going to be from 45 days from when this is all lifted.
And we don't know when that is yet.
No.
Okay, so the clock hasn't started running, is what you're saying, so. Is that correct?
Running sensitivity of the matter is if we are not allowed to have public gatherings in June, let's just say, That means that if we decide to have if we do decide to have a meeting in June and we don't have the ability to continue it to another time, that we will more than likely need to conduct the meeting via video conferencing.
But
Okay.
the application opened when we received their binder and
Correct.
their drawings.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's been some delay, has there not,
Delay in time.
in meeting and being able to set up and have the next meeting, so to speak?
Yeah, but the legislation, Chapter 53 of the Acts of 2020 allows us to do so. So I think it's just making a determination. Do we think if we're open to the public in June, then we can have a meeting? I think the likeliness of that happening is an unknown. And if we do choose a date certain in June, and that the governor continues the legislation to another date, we have the opportunity to do another continuance or stay it and hold the meeting via video conference.
Howie, my opinion is we somehow assume to get on with this new condition that we're in, and we try to hold the meeting. And if for some reason there's backlash that people couldn't log on, then we could take a second course of action because we understand what the concerns of the public are. But we should try to move forward in this new continuum that we have to try to hold meetings. Otherwise, the backlog will get excessive, and we should try as best we can, if it is possible, to keep things moving forward. That's my 2 cents.
Okay, well, I agree that the sooner the better. I wonder if we actually can hold a meeting in a meeting room with people. We're going to have a large number of people, I'm sure. If we do it remotely, the only thing I question is, are people going to have the access to it?
We would need to figure out a system where you or Susan or I have control, and that person has the ability to show or call up a plan as opposed to just our video. Because I don't think you can speak.
Yeah.
Are you just talking about
Yeah.
Cricket Lane, or are you talking about everything in general?
Well, it's Cricket Lane, but I think it's everything in general.
Because I think Cricket Lane is a big project that I don't think it's a feasible issue to be doing it on video conferencing. That's my opinion.
But why is this any different than our regular ZBA meetings?
Well, all right, again, I have to step aside, being on PS5, but
I'm just being the devil's advocate.
No, we're just
No,
talking
I
about,
understand that, but I think there's so much controversy about this project that, not like there's not controversy about any other project, don't get me wrong.
but Elaine, if we have the means in which to have somebody present and speak, Howie has the means to control the meeting, and we have the ability to put up a visual, which is a site plan in which somebody can draw a line and say, no, I think we're discussing this over here, then the meeting is complete and comprehensive in order of conveying what had happened. If we can't see a plan, then we're just talking. That's not going to work. If we can't have 40 people sign on and we can't figure out how to control 40 people speaking, then we have a problem. And I'm just trying to say that we should try to figure out how to work this out. And if there are issues, then we'll either have to solve them, or if they're not solving, then we just have to keep postponing.
And this is just to share, oh, sorry, Maria. I just want to kind of set the expectation of what the first meeting will look like. The first meeting will be the applicant presenting their application, because they haven't done that yet. And then I would expect to have our civil peer review engineer participating as well, because there has already been a submission of the first review done by the civil engineer. And I would also probably try to include the wetlands engineer, because there's a lot of crossover between the two. And I think it's important that they both hear what the other is saying. Which, by the way, wetlands first round of comments has also gone over to the applicant, as well as traffic peer review. So all of our first round peer review feedback has gone over to the applicant.
I think Sue has a point that it's, if they present their application to us and we have feedback from the civil engineer and wetlands, we are going to have more meetings, that public participation may be easier in July for people to comment. I'm not saying that we won't allow any comment during the meeting, but I understand what Sue's saying, and I think she has a point. And I think Eric has a point that we need to get this started.
Yeah, I would agree. The only thing I was going to mention is I know in some of the other systems that we use, you know, you have the ability to mute everyone and then they can *6 or *1 when they want to ask a question. So I don't know the potential for Zoom. I really don't use Zoom a lot, but I'm sure they have that same potential where, you know, everyone can be muted. Someone wants to ask a question, they could *6, get into the, but I think there's not going to be a ton of questions. There's going to be more presenting from both sides, my thought.
So what typically would happen with any of these video conference meetings is I would look to the chair to host or to chair the meeting as they normally would.
Right.
I may ask for someone to kind of write any important notes down. I'm going to do the note taking, but I'm also going to be running the meeting in Zoom. So I certainly will have the ability to go back and listen to the meeting because it is being recorded. So should I miss anything important, I can certainly capture that in the minutes. But I will be responsible for the navigational component of Zoom, making sure that everybody is, you know, muted upon entry, allowing the people who are presenting to present. And then if you're going to open it up for question and comment, then we'll have to go through and call on people as they're listed in the list and see if they have any questions or comments as it relates to the application. It will certainly be different, but it's manageable.
So would anybody, any residents that want to speak about the application, they need to sign up previously to the meeting?
No?
Then how are we going to know? We just do it like a normal meeting where I would
Yeah,
ask?
I would just say if anybody has any questions, we're going to go through the list of participants right now, and we'll call your name, and I'll unmute them.
If you have the participant list on the right-hand side of your screen, there is a button at the lower right that says raise hand and lower hand.
Mm-hmm.
So if you tell people, if you would like to speak, you're all on mute. If you would please use the raised hand button, the chairman can understand that you would like to make a comment. That's the way this Zoom works. You raise a hand and you
Would
can,
that be something that we all can see, or?
I can, well, I raised my hand. So if you go to and click on, if you, let's see.
Participants?
Yeah.
So if you go over, let's see, it shouldn't be under participants. If you click over your name.
So let's see where I can find
Yeah,
that.
if you just click on participants on the bottom, it says raise hand on the right-hand side on the bottom.
Yeah, you see the 2 people and it says 6. That means there's 6 people in the meeting. If you click on that, on the right-hand side pops up a white bar.
Yeah.
Eric's got his hand raised. So,
Yeah,
oh, now Mario's got his hand raised.
Okay, I see now.
I say,
So I think if if you ask everyone to be on mute, what happens if you click on my hand, Howie, my blue hand?
I don't know, nothing right now.
I think only I can lower it, Eric, as the
Host.
host.
Oh, you own the meeting, right? So if you
Right.
click on my,
The other thought is, if there's going to be a lot of people on the line, and sometimes as we're losing people due to the bandwidth, it may be a good idea to have people just be on computer and then call in on the number. And then I think it saves a lot of time and you don't have all these people. So, they can come in and look at whatever somebody's presenting, but they're on, the 800 number, whatever that you can call on. And it may make it a lot easier.
or people email, Sue gets the real lifetime email, and then the email can be read, and you just have to write your question in.
Okay, so we're gonna let Sue handle that.
Sorry, Sue.
Good luck, so.
Right.
No, there's a couple ways. I've seen this done a few different ways, and and there are other. This is Zoom. I have GoToMeeting where I can open any PDF, like a site plan of the whole application, and I can highlight it and I can mark it up and I can put text on it and I can put notes on it, and people can see that real time. So in terms of discussion of a site plan, that's beneficial. In terms of just seeing faces and having a discussion, Zoom is very good. And then there's Skype, and then there's Microsoft, and then there's who knows what else. So Zoom, I think, is fairly easy, but I'm not sure how you actually share drawings as if I was taking control of the screen and you were looking at my desktop and I had a plan open and I could point and highlight things on the plan.
Yeah, I have the ability as the host to give someone the ability to share their screen.
Okay,
So if,
all right.
So if I know the applicant is going to present, I can open it up to Ben Osgood, for instance, to share his screen.
Okay. So, Larry, have you been holding the remote meetings with the planning board, correct?
Well, only to continue things.
Okay.
To
So you're
the point.
no
Well,
more.
actually, that's not entirely true. We had one a hearing early on, which I think, Susan, you hosted, if I'm not mistaken, and we were able to display plans on the screen. So we had that experience. Now, since then, we've been doing much the same as what you've been doing, is just continuing everything pending, reopening the ability to have in-person meetings. However, that said, we had a meeting this afternoon with town council and had this same discussion. And the sense of the planning board is that we're going to go forward, probably beginning with our second meeting in June, to take hearings and take evidence, either in this format or live. If by some miracle we should be able to do that. Now, I suppose that could change if we got a firm date from the governor when we could go back to live meetings, but I don't think we're going to see that anytime in the near future. I think we're going to be into July or August, if not later, before that happens. At least that seemed to be our consensus. So we're much for the reasons that you folks have articulated. We don't want the backlog to get any worse. We want to start moving things along. And we even talked about possibly meeting more often than our regularly scheduled meetings, like perhaps even once a week until we can get caught up.
Okay, thank you, Larry. So I guess we need to decide whether we want to try for June, I'm sorry. And Sue and the other people that are more familiar with this will figure out how we're going to do it. Is that a reasonable thought, Eric, for you?
Yes, I'm in agreement.
Okay. Right. And Mario, does that sound all right with you?
Yes.
Okay. So,
So just as a point of reference, we scheduled the prior hearings to the 18th. Lisa Mead would be available on the 25th or any other Thursday thereafter, understanding that you guys prefer to meet on Thursdays.
okay.
Because there's a
So-
lot of town meetings happening before the 18th.
Right. Okay, so you're suggesting the earliest date on a Thursday would be June 25th.
Right.
Would it be wise to hold a meeting on the 18th and go through the regular agenda and have a meeting on the 25th to do Cricket Lane?
I think that's what we're implying.
Right, right. I think we're just trying to nail down about Cricket Lane right now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yep, a little slow on the uptake, sorry.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and plan for the 25th? And figure it out when we get there. Excuse me.
Okay.
Susan, at this meeting, will they be responding to all the questions or concerns that the architect or whomever had, that whole list of issues?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a number, you've seen me forward to you all a number of resident concerns and questions as it relates to this particular application. I have shared all of those with every one of our peer reviewers in case there's any overlap and just to increase their sensitivity to what's going on. I would expect that perhaps some of that conversation may start based on what our peer reviewers' first round of comments were. I do fully expect there to be another second and third round of comments as well as we work through the process. And I'm sure, you know, as residents participate, they're going to be bringing up the same additional issues as we work through it.
And do they have a list of the issues that were already raised by the surveyors or whomever? You know, the documents you had sent me, there was just a number of concerns about wells and things like that. So they have all that information
Yep,
that they need to
they've got it
respond to?
all. Yep, yep.
So Mario, part of myself getting back up to speed, I was hoping to take all of Sue's emails and communications and list them in a log to make sure I understood what was what. And at that point, I would share it and ask that everyone take a look at it and confirm that they've either received or have the document as noted, or add the document that I missed. And then we would all be on the same page. I've read emails previously, but I haven't retained, I haven't acted, I haven't printed, I haven't collated them. I'm not there to discuss the project. And I'd like to do that because I'd like to get on top of it, because I think my 2 cents is from the last time this project happened, that we got very heavy into civil and site and got very behind on the number of numerous
Yeah, you'll be on
changes.
TV. I'm sorry, Eric.
Yep, and we didn't really get to the meat of our own questions to the applicant. So I would like to try to figure out how to get on top of that. And Sue sent a ton of stuff, which I don't have organized. And if someone else has it organized, that's great, but that's where I'm at personally.
I think that's a great idea, Eric.
Thanks, Howie.
Okay, so if there's no more discussion about Cricket Lane, we're going to try for the June 25th. So,
Yep,
so now we need to set up a date for the continued hearings from tonight.
we did that already. It was June 18th.
Oh, okay. I probably knew that, but
That's
I
okay.
forgot. Okay, so is there anything else anybody'd like to bring up? Okay, I have one thing. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Eric Fine as acting chairman in the event I cannot be a participant in any of the upcoming meetings. And the reason for that is my surgery's finally been rescheduled for the end of May. Not sure when I'll be available. I kind of think I will be available for the June meetings, but I'm not sure. So anyhow, I would like a second to that motion. Elaine? Oh, Elaine, yeah,
Second, I second it.
Okay, thank you, Mario. All in favor? Aye.
I
Oh,
vote for
I'm
myself.
sorry. I'm sorry, I was supposed to do this in order. We'll go with Elaine Baker.
Yes, yes. I
Okay,
second this
Uh,
and I'm in favor of it.
okay, you're in favor. Eric?
Yeah.
Fine?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and Mario?
I second
Thank
it.
you. Okay. Anybody opposed? No. Motion passes. Whether you liked it or not, Eric.
Thanks, Sally. And we wish the best for you.
Yeah,
And we
I think
expect
I'll
to
be
see you.
available.
Even if
Yeah,
you're
no,
in your
I think-
even if you're in your pajamas, Howie, on video, we expect you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I expect that I'll be able to, that,
Okay.
this is gonna be out 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But just in case.
Always
Sue
good to plan.
thought it would be good to plan ahead. And on that note, Sue, do we have a third member that can sit if I can't?
So, yeah, so I did, as you know, there, in addition to Mario, there was an additional individual who submitted interest. So I asked Tracy to add that to the Board of Selectmen agenda this past Tuesday, just in the event we needed it. It's not going to hurt to have another alternate member. Joe DiMartino was appointed on Tuesday night, so I've asked the Board of Selectmen Executive Administrator to get that paperwork to him and subsequently to the town clerk to get him sworn in and have him do all of the other requirements. So he'll be ready when June rolls around.
Okay, thank you.
In
That's what
addition, I think that Mario has also taken the time to go through and view some of the meetings that we've had, Mario, is that correct?
Yes.
So that
was
way he can
painful,
mull in. Yeah, I know. Well, that way he can mull in on any of the current hearings that we have open in the event we do have the absence of Howie. So that will be super helpful.
Okay, great, great. So is there any other new business?
Mario, do you have the binder and the set of drawings for
I
Cricket
do.
Lane?
Yep, I do.
I dropped them off at his driveway a couple of weeks ago.
We're social distancing.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. As long as you're having as much fun as the rest of us, then great.
Okay, in that case, can we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
second,
Yeah, I have to ask each of you individually. Elaine Baker,
yes, second,
Eric Spahn,
Yes.
okay, Mario
Yes.
Carnival. Motion passes. Okay, thank you, everyone.